what's up, friends? Moses here from Driver Success. I hope you guys are doing well. So most of the times, by the time I come into work, I have already been pre-planned. I know what loads I'm gonna do. There are a couple of times when I come in and I don't see a pre-plan on my app. But when I get to work, when I'm like doing my pre-trip, most of the time, by the time I'm done my pre-trip, they will have a pre-plan on me or even dispatched. But today I realized after doing everything, I went, got me some def, and then done with everything, went in the office, and I realized I still did not have a pre-plan on me. When that happens, chances are something is going on. Maybe they need you to go for training, or your manager needs to talk to you about something, or you have a special assignment. So today was one of those days. So when I got to my manager, he had me to sign some papers. Every year they have you sign a paper to say that your license is still good. They take a copy of it to just check it to make sure you don't have any tickets that you acquired or any violations you had during the previous year. So they had me do that, and it turns out I was also singled out for a random drug test. So right now, this is the company car. We have company cars whenever they need you to go do something like a random test, or if you, for example, for those guys who are over the road or regional drivers, you are by the terminal but you want to go out and maybe get something to eat or pick up groceries or do something, you can always just borrow one of the company cars. We always have courtesy cars here on the yard, and I believe all the JB Hunt terminals, they have courtesy cars. I think that's what they call them. So you just go in there, sign it out, and then just go do whatever you need to do and bring it back. Of course, you shouldn't be gone with the car for the whole day. It's just for you, for people to, especially for like those guys that are over the road, for you to make quick errands that you need to make, and also for things like, for example, like the drug test I'm going on. I just use the company car instead of taking my truck. And so, yeah, I've been singled out for a drug test. I think I'm actually surprised. I think this is the first time in 2 years that I get a random drug test. So that's where I'm going to head right now, get that done, and then when I'm done, I'll just continue with my day. Alright, so I'm here. Let's go get this done with. That right there was the entrance, but they said that for drug tests we need to go to Suite 140. So I'm just gonna go and look for the other place where the drug tests are done. That was pretty fast. There was no line. It was just like get in there, fill out forms, wait a little bit. Just took my they just took my urine. They didn't do a hair test. That's it. So less than 30 minutes. I'm going back to work right now. As somebody that gets paid by the activity, it's very important that every time you come to work, as long as you are at work, it's important for you to make sure that whatever you do at work, you know what you get paid for, and how you get paid for it. Because if you don't know what you get paid for and how you get paid for it, it's very, very easy for you to leave money on the table. So for example, even when we go for things like right now I just went for a drug test, they pay us for that. So they pay us by the hour depending on what time you've spent doing that. So for this instance, from the time I left the yard to the time I'm back at the yard, they're gonna pay me for that. But they just don't pay you automatically. You have to put in what we call an exception. So I have to remember to put in an exception and let them know that I did a drug test, and so I need to be paid for my time. So you put in what time you left the yard, what time you came back, and then why you are asking for that exception. In this case, as I said, they pay us by the hour, so they pay you for your time. So every time you come at work, anything that you do, you want to find out if you get paid for it and how you get paid for it. If you don't have any information to give you that, ask a fellow driver. If the very best person that can give you probably an answer is your manager. Ask your manager, hey, this is what I did. How do I get paid for it? Actually, even how you ask matters. I would say, this is what I did. How do I get paid for it? Don't ask if you get paid for it. Ask how you get paid for it. And then I'll work with him or her to make sure that you put in your exception and be paid for it. If you have really a good manager, like I have a good manager. Actually, all the managers I've encountered here at Haslet are really good managers. They are quick to help you out and to answer questions. I've never had a problem with any of the manager, but my manager that I currently have, the weekend manager, very, very awesome guy. Actually, all the managers I've personally had have been good guys. And as I said here, everyone at least that I've encountered, every manager is a nice guy or girl. So don't be afraid to ask. They want you to be happy, and you should be happy, and you should be paid for anything that you do at work. Right now, I'm just gonna go get my load. Hopefully they have something. Chances are they don't have anything because they don't know how long it will take me. But when I get back in there, they should be able to get me a couple of loads for me to start the day. All right. So it's about 10 minutes to 1800 and I just made it to my first delivery. I have a lot that I need to let you know that has happened in the last few hours. So I just checked in right now. I'm gonna take this to door 29 and I will let you know some of the stuff that has happened the last maybe 2 hours. Okay, so let me update you on what has happened the last few hours. When I got back from taking, first of all and foremost, let me first go back to, I was talking about the drug test. I remembered a story that I need to share with you. I have a very good friend out in California, and actually he's the person that got me also interested in trucking because he got into trucking before I did. He's the one I talked to ask a few questions. And he was working for a company in California that he really, really loved. He had a dedicated account, very easy account. He used to just drive from Riverside, take a load to the border of Nevada and California. I forget the name of the city. Like when you're on the 15 going into Las Vegas, the very first city after you cross into Nevada, I forget the name of the city, where you have the casinos there, for those of you who know that area. So he would drop it there, exchange with another driver, pick up, like they would switch trailers. So he would pick up the trailer and then head back to Riverside. And by the time he was done with that, that was the end of his shift. He was making good money. He loved the shift. Very easy work. And then one time, as he was driving back from making his switch, he gets a message, a call that he needed to go and do a drug test. So he said, "Oh, okay." So he got back to the yard, dropped off his truck and trailer, went home, slept and waited until the following day. He went back to work, and then I think that's when he told them he needed that he should go and take a drug test. I don't remember if that's when he did the drug test or he waited a little bit. And then it turns out that they ended up firing him because of that. And the reason was not because he used drugs, because he has never used drugs. He had been with the company for a long time. He had gone through many drug tests. They knew he didn't use drugs. But the reason they had to let him go was because he had passed the window in which he had to take the drug test. He didn't know about it. He didn't know that you are given a certain window. And I remember when I was with US Express, and I remember I think I even had a load, and when that random drug test came in, they just told me to go straight to the clinic to do my drug test. They didn't want me to even wait or to first deliver the load. And so when they give you a drug test, you have a certain window. I forget how many hours, but I want to say it's less than 24 hours in which you are supposed to do that drug test. If you don't, it's an automatically fail. So my friend didn't know about it, and his manager didn't tell him that it had to be done within a certain period of time. So because of, I don't know if it's really company policy or DOT policy. So maybe any of you that knows that is a truck driver can leave me a comment so I know. It's either a DOT policy or it was the company policy that you are supposed to take. When you are chosen for a random drug test, you have a limited time frame in which to do it. And the reason I share that with you is because if any of you ever gets a random drug test, you must know that it needs to be done within a certain window. If you go past that window, it's an automatic failure. And I want to say that's a DOT policy. If it's not, somebody correct me, please. But at least I know that most companies, when you are picked randomly, then they need you to take it within a certain period. So that's one of the things I wanted to let you know. Okay, so that's with the drug test. Now with what has happened in the last few hours. So when I came in the morning, I log into my truck, everything was fine. I go get my def and then go to the office, and then the drug test thing comes up. I go to take my drug test. I come back and my manager puts my load on me, and he realizes he couldn't put it on my truck, and he's like, "That's weird, what's wrong?" So he checks to see, and my truck was blocked because it's going to be traded in, and so I'm gonna be getting a different truck. That truck has 264,385 miles. So I think that's when they trade them in. So they had to block it. I couldn't use it. They had just blocked it because in the morning I was able to log in, but right now, when I went back, I couldn't use it. So and then I was joking with him and asking him, "So does that mean you're gonna get me one of those new automatic trucks?" And he was laughing and said, "We can try and ask, but they haven't found me a truck, so probably when I come in, because right now it's Monday, and so when I come in on Friday to start my week, that's probably when I'll be assigned to a new truck. My only the only thing that I'm hoping and wishing and praying that doesn't happen is that they don't give me one where I'm sharing with somebody. The truck that I had, I was using it by myself. Now there are chances that I may get a truck that is a shared truck. So when that happens, there's nothing you can really do about it. But hopefully they get me a truck where it's my truck by myself. So we'll see how that goes. Because I think I had mentioned that I need an automatic. The loaner truck he gave me is an automatic truck. So if you see right here, that's an automatic. I don't know if you can see. So when my manager gave me a truck like this truck here, it was really dirty, so I had to clean it. Most of the time whenever they give me a loaner truck, it is usually that I have to clean it. The good thing about this driver, whoever drives this truck, he has disinfecting wipes. So that's the good thing, because most of the time I use my own that I have to clean driver's trucks, but this guy has his own, and so I had to clean it up. Hopefully when he comes in, he'll be like, instead of saying who made my truck that, he'll be like, dang, somebody cleaned my truck. I had to spend about 10 to 15 minutes just wiping stuff to clean it up. And then getting in and out of the rail was also a challenge, because for some reason BNSF's computers or system, I think, had some issues. It wasn't very bad, but there were some challenges. And then I get to my load, and one of the pins was really way out. I couldn't get it in, so I had to go to the flip line to have it readjusted so I can be able to push that pin in. So that was done. That's how I now am here at this time. So that's what has happened in the last few hours. But right now it's 18:15 and they're just going to start unloading me. I've just backed up, so he says it shouldn't be long. And then from there, I believe I'm going to... From there, I go back to Hazlet, and then I have a drop. I think I have a drop in Dallas. And then from there, I have a pickup in Sunnyvale. And then from Sunnyvale, I think I take that to Wiley. And then from Wiley, I do across town. So I'm going to take to Dallas, pick up in Sunnyvale, and then do across town from Wiley to Hazlet. Hopefully by the time I'm done with that, I can be able to put in one more short load. We'll see.